Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again. And it is Wednesday. Game day tomorrow. Very quick, short turnaround from our victory against the Falcons on Sunday. Victory Monday was really short. So what I say to you guys, 24-hour window, get ready for the next week. But this week, it was like right after the game, that horrible tragedy with Michael Gallup's family and his brother committing suicide. And then the team has to refocus and get together and play against the Redskins. Thank God that it's a division game. We know the Redskins very well. I did mention that, okay, Alex Smith got hurt. We're playing against Colt McCoy. Now, I know some of you guys are like, oh, this is a guaranteed win. But look here. Remember, it is a division game. You still have to respect the Redskins front seven. They shut Zeke down last game. He only had 33 yards. So, you know, the Redskins' whole game plan, we already know what they want to do. They're going to try to hold Zeke again, and they're going to dare Dak to beat us. So this is where the play calling comes in. We have to get a lot of RPO, a lot of play fakes. It's going to have to, we got to do some, a bunch of things that we haven't been doing, basically. I mean, the list goes on. I could talk about it all day till I'm blue in my face, but you guys already know the narrative to that. But if you guys remember, Colt McCoy beat us Thanksgiving Day back in 2014 at AT&T Stadium. You know, that's why you can't go in here underestimating the guy. I think that Colt McCoy is a good quarterback. I got to give him his props. I think that he got buried behind that that depth chart because he was on a team where they had RG3 and Kirk Cousins. You're not going to start over a guy that they gave up 2 first-round picks for. You know, I mean, that's just that's not going to happen. And then Kirk Cousins was also a draft pick too. So you're not going to be ahead of these guys because their draft value was better than yours. So because of that reason, they're ahead of you. But Colt McCoy has always been that bus driver. He's a decent quarterback in my eyes. Like if he was a backup here, I wouldn't have mind. But he doesn't do anything that's like too flashy, and he doesn't do anything that will be like, okay, well, he can't play, he sucks. You know, he's just right there in the middle. He gets the job done. So if a offensive coordinator is great at what he does, Colt McCoy could be a great quarterback. But I look at it like this. The caveat to that, when they did beat us in 2014 with Colt McCoy at the helm, we didn't have a dynamic defensive line like we do now. We didn't have DeMarcus Lawrence. We didn't have Dak Prescott nor Ezekiel Elliott. But you look at it like this. Those guys weren't there. The main thing was our defensive line was weak at that time. Now our defensive line is one of our strongest units, even though they've been injured. But good news, we're getting a lot of those guys back. I think with the exception of course, David Irving and Daniel Ross. I think everybody else is going to be back. Malik Collins. Oh, I just want to say shout out to Malik Collins. He played that game really on one leg. He was still injured technically. You look at him after the game and reports of him walking around the facility like he was just limping a lot. But, you know, you get those injections for the game and go in there with a mental tough mindset that I can do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to let anybody else stop me from doing this because I want to be there for my team. And I can't do nothing but respect that. So with that being said, that's what he did. And shout out to him for that. DeMarcus Lawrence kind of playing on one arm, you know, with his shoulder labrum, with the slight tear that he has in that I'm pretty sure he's going to take care of in the offseason. But, you know, a lot of respect for that, still playing on that and still getting sacks and still getting pressure. I'm loving our defense as a whole. Our defense as a whole right now. It's good to get these guys back. I think, like I said, I think that with the exception of Daniel Ross and David Irving, everybody else should be back. Taco, I think, is going to be playing for Thanksgiving, but we'll see. I'll talk about that when I do my matchup video before tomorrow's game. Also, too, I'm loving the linebacker core. They're doing their thing. Leighton Vander Esch is coming in here, and he's beasting out. You know, him and Jalen Smith, those young guys, they're young. their contracts are still, they're still going to be on the team for some years, and we have some years down the road, with these guys, and it can't do nothing but get better at this point. Even if Shawn Lee decides he wants to just hang up the cleats and retire, I think that the team will probably bring him back as an assistant to Ben Bloom with those linebackers, because it's key to Leighton Vander Esch's maturity and the way that he's growing into the NFL right now with having Shawn Lee in his ear. I tell you guys all the time that mentoring helps. Mentoring helps. And with Shawn Lee there mentoring these young guys and being there for them, it's key. It's key. It is key. You look at Dak Prescott's success in 2016 when we had Tony Romo still on the roster and Mark Sanchez. They were in his ear. And speaking of Mark Sanchez, I wish we would have signed him back just to help Dak like that, because he needed that. But the Redskins went and got Mark Sanchez as their backup. You know, you don't necessarily want him out there quarterbacking, but I think he would have been good for this team solely for the maturation of Dak and helping him out, because he is a experienced quarterback and he does see things, he does know things, regardless of what you think about him as a quarterback. I've heard Redskin fans say, "Oh, here we go. Why do we sign this bum?" But Jay Gruden, you already know, he's over there in Mark Sanchez's ear. Hey, you was with the Cowboys for a little bit. Tell me about their offenses, how Dak runs, and things of that nature. So they're trying to get little tidbits about Dak to try to get the edge to win this game. Like the Dallas Cowboys don't already have things against them, and I'm going to get into that too, because that is the meat of this video right now. Because I'm really pissed off about it, and it's nothing I can do. I'm just a fan. It is what it is. I do want to say that I guess it really doesn't matter. Christian Ringo, they released him. For the game, they moved him up from the practice squad. He literally only played 8 snaps on the on special teams, and I think 1 or 2 snaps on defense. I thought they were going to play him more with how decimated the defensive tackles were, which is the whole reason why you brought him up from the practice squad, to provide depth. But they didn't even really play him that much, so they ended up releasing him, and they're bringing back Darian Thompson. Well, they brought back Darian Thompson that they cut for him to get on. So basically, they initially cut the DB, the safety, Darian Thompson, to put Ringo back up to the 53-man roster, and they released Thompson for that. And basically, it's a circle. So now they released Ringo, and they're bringing back Darian Thompson. So one thing that you guys have to understand, being in the NFL making a lot of money is great, but when you're a bubble guy, when you're like that 53rd, 52nd person or 50th person on the team, you're always good. You never know. You could be cut and brought back and cut and brought back and cut and brought back and cut and brought back. DJ E2. But anyway, seriously though, you know, when they get cut, I mean, these guys, a lot of these guys that are not core players, they don't really have stable homes. Their home is still somewhere else. They probably still got wife and kids somewhere, and but they're with the Cowboys. They're staying in hotels and living out of luggage and renting month-to-month lease apartments. And I mean, granted, the money is good, but when you get cut, you don't know when you're going to come back. You don't know what team's going to pick you up. You got to fly here, fly there, and that's all on your money. When you're an NFL player, you get 1099. It's not like you're an independent contractor. That's pretty much what it is. You're like Mark Holmes of the NFL. You're an independent contractor. You basically you went until you get hired for a job. You are a free agent and you're trying to figure your way out. But I mean, the NFL is a rough business. It really is. I mean, everybody always talks about the glitz and glamour of it, but there's parts of it where, you know, you get cut, you don't know where you're gonna go, and it's rough. But neither here nor there. What I really want to get into is this. Those of you that watch the games all the time, you guys already know that these penalties are ridiculous. Ridiculous. And people always say, oh, you Cowboy fans always crying and bitching and complaining about the NFL treating y'all wrong and doing this and doing that. Let me bring something to your attention. And again, stats don't lie. And now, granted, stats can be skewed sometimes, but in a situation like this, it's straight facts, y'all. And y'all already know E2 Blue keep it real. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to keep it straightforward. That's all I know how to do. At the end of the day, I don't know what's up with these refs. I don't know what vendetta they have against the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know what deal was made behind closed doors. I don't know if it's because of the stuff that Jerry started in the offseason with Roger Goodell. I don't know if this Roger Goodell getting back at him. I don't know what the hell's going on. But it's crazy to think. Like, and I was just looking up these stats, and I'm just like, Cowboys opponents have not been called for offensive penalty since like week 2, week 3. And I think the last time I really seen a real penalty from another team was the first game of the season against the Carolina Panthers. And they only got called on 2 offensive holdings. Let me tell you something. Do you know how easy it is for offensive linemen to get called on holding? And I know we get upset whenever we get holding calls, but it's easy for offensive linemen to get holding because of it's the nature of okay, so look at it like this. Those of you guys that don't understand, I'm going to say it in layman's terms. So when you're offensive lineman and and again, offensive linemen have different schemes. Like there's 2 main ones. It's you got your offensive line is either big Coke bottle machines with arms where they're not really athletic. They're just big burly guys that are just going to stand there and be like a tree and just try to block off the defense. Or like the Cowboys offensive line traditionally is, where they're smaller, more fit, athletic offensive linemen that move and pull and get to the second level. That and those are they are the main reason for Ezekiel Elliott's success in 2016, where if you go back and watch the tape, you'll see what I'm saying. Like, they were blocking up into the second level, and they were doing that up until Paul Alexander came to the team. Then Paul Alexander comes to the team, and then the whole philosophy gets thrown out the damn window. But I'll get to that too. I don't want to get sidetracked. But what I'm saying is, say for instance, you're an offensive lineman. Defensive guy's coming to you. You're trying to block him off. It's hand placement. If the ref is watching the line and he looks and see your hand too far outside of the player, so when your hands as an offensive lineman, that's why they have you positioned. When they say punch a player, it's not literally punch him. It's like boom, boom, hit him in the chest right here. When an offensive lineman stays on the inside of a player, that is the area where you need to be. It's a certain area that you have to be at when you're blocking the defensive lineman. Now, when your hands are too far outside of the guy, when it almost looks like you're holding him or choking him, 9 times out of 10, the line judge is going to call that, and it's going to be a holding call. Especially the way the defensive guy moves. If he shifts or twists his body like this, and you're on the outside of him, it's really easy to get an offensive holding. And that's why offensive lineman's job is really hard. But we don't understand that. We don't pay attention to that because it's not a skill position. You know what I mean? Like I said, when you look at what happens during a game, nobody's paying attention to that. They're looking at the running back, they're looking at the quarterback, and they're looking where the ball's going. They're not paying attention to that jumble mess that's going on that line. But it's a lot of stuff going on in there. So it's really hard. Like, you really have to be disciplined as an offensive lineman and not get a holding penalty. So by saying that, my whole gist is this. Since week 3, offenses that played against us have dropped back 300 times and not have been called on a single offensive holding since week 3. Explain to me how that's possible. So you heard what I just said about how hard it is to not get a penalty call? So you mean to tell me since week 3 there's been 300 drop back passes from quarterbacks and there's no holding calls against them? I can see if we had a trash defensive line and we didn't get no pressure. Bro, our line gets pressure damn near every play. You mean to tell me that these people aren't double teaming DeMarcus Lawrence and holding him and because he's an aggressive guy when he gets to the quarterback? You mean to tell me wasn't nobody holding D-Law? Wasn't nobody holding Crawford? Wasn't nobody holding Malik Collins? And wasn't nobody holding the human log, Antoine Woods? Is that what you're telling me? That nobody held him? In 300 plays since week 3. Is that what you're telling me right now? That doesn't make any sense. None. And there's nothing that you could tell me to go against that. It's stupid. It's asinine. And it's frustrating as hell because when I think about it, I'm like, 300 goddamn drop passes. You drop back, threw the ball, and ain't not one offensive holding call. Let me tell you something. Let me roll it around. The Cowboys' offensive line, even though we haven't been as good as before because of injuries, offensive line is still a good offensive line. The Cowboys have been called, the offensive line have been called for over 20 penalties since the season started. So you mean to tell me the Cowboys' offensive line is the only offensive line in the league that's holding? Really? Come on, bro. Cut the crap. Like, none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. But I just wanted to share that little nugget with you guys just so you can get what I'm trying to say. Just think about that for a minute. Now, on the back end, I'm going to try to bring back the positivity. So, if you notice, offensive line has been progressively better since Paul Alexander has been fired. Mark Colombo, Hudson Houtt, they brought back that scheme, that philosophy, that way that the offensive line has been playing at least for the last 5-10 years. But we have the personnel to do it. We got Pro Bowlers. We got 3 of them. So even with La'el Collins' struggles, I think that's because he wasn't down with that Paul Alexander stuff. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know the type of person that La'el is. And La'el's a good guy, but he probably was thinking in his head, like, I'm not doing none of this. And I'm pretty sure that's the reason why he got fired, because him, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, and even Travis Frederick, they all are veterans, and they all looked at it and was like, look, we not down with this, coach. Can we figure something out? Coach, I know you with us, coach. Can we figure something out? Can we get through this? And there you go. And that's what happened. So now you're seeing that the line is all of a sudden, it not only does it help Dak, but it helps Zeke. Again, this is another little nugget I'm trying to get you guys to understand. I'm trying to paint a picture for you guys. Hear me out. So when you have your offensive line pulling and getting better, they're playing more aggressive. They're getting to the second level. They're creating space and holes for Zeke. So Zeke has time. If you notice, watch these games or watch the game tomorrow and see what Zeke does. The way the offensive line is pulling now, they're creating space. So now Zeke has that 1.5 seconds to think and hesitate and find the hole first. Before, he was just running into stuff because there was no space. He was just trying to churn yards. Now he can get back to his 2016 form where they were pulling and making space. That helps Zeke, and the way it helps Dak is this. It helps Dak mental. You already know when Dak kept getting sacked, especially from that Atlanta game last year when he got crushed by Adrian Claiborne, which ain't even that great of a defensive tackle. You ain't hearing much of what he's doing now with New England. Because, you know, we had Chaz Green, so it was a little bit of that. Chaz Green wasn't doing his job. The offensive line wasn't playing well. So he was seeing ghosts. He was hearing footsteps. Every time he could feel a guy coming on him, he flinched. So when a quarterback flinches, you're not looking at the field. You're not seeing. So when you guys kept saying, oh, he missed his open guy. He missed the open guy because this big bastard is bearing down on him. So if somebody's bearing down on you, there's what can you do? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. He should have been looking. And one thing about him, he does need to do better at stepping up into the pocket. So now that the offensive line is creating space, Dak needs to step up into the pocket. That way he can step up, find the open guy. He can see the field better. Because when you're staying in one spot or backing up or going to the left or the right, you're going to get sacked. Because, again, this is the NFL. And these guys are big, strong, and fast, and they're coming at you hard. And they're going to hit you, and they're going to injure you. So, we've seen it with Alex Smith. So, to save your quarterback, Offensive line, and that's why. And if you look at his post-game press conference or one of the little interviews that they did on Dak this week, he basically said in so many words that my offensive line is playing better. So basically what he's saying is, now that my line is playing better, I can concentrate more on my mechanics and doing the other things, because he was worried too much trying not to get hit. That's what it was before. So that's just a little nugget for you guys. I'm giving you 2 nuggets, y'all. Thanksgiving, y'all. You know, I'm giving back. I'm giving back to you guys so you guys can see what I'm doing. You see what I'm saying? But nonetheless, it was something else I had to say. I had completely lost my train of thought, guys. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I don't want to end the video and then forget about it. But yeah, just think about that. Just think about, I mean, the penalties are ridiculous. I mean, I don't think there's anything we could do about it, but I just wanted to talk about it. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. But one thing that we're going to have to do against the Redskins, we're going to have, the offensive line is going to have to, since we're not going to get any help from the refs and they're going to do their thing, only thing the Cowboys can do is control their own destiny. And by doing that is you have to play aggressive, get up, because if the Redskins are playing from behind, they're going to forget all that philosophy. And you're going to have to contain Adrian Peterson, because Adrian Peterson is the same age as me. And I'm going to tell you right now, he may be old for the NFL, but he's definitely he definitely still got, I don't know, he got some youth serum or something. I don't know what it is. He make me want to go outside and run some drills. But, I mean, it is what it is. I just look at it like this. We got to win this game, because if we win this game, we would be in top of the division. We can take over. We would be leading the division with division wins at that point. Now that we beat the Eagles, and then if we beat the Redskins, we'll have that. We'll basically have that, because the records will be tied, but we'll have that presence over them as first because we have more division wins. So I just hope that these games that we dropped, like the NFC South games that we lost, like the Carolina one, I hope that doesn't come back and creep us, because when it comes to getting into a wild card with the playoff, those games matter because they look at the full body of work. And like I said, ain't nobody feeling sorry for the Cowboys, and so you got to do your job. You do your job, everything will be fine. I'm loving the fact that they got Colombo back in here doing this thing. The offensive line seems much happier, and it helps out the offense as a whole. Amari Cooper was not here to become a decoy. He was here to be the #1 receiver. And the only thing I would say about a decoy is because he garnishes a double team, it opens it up for other players. And you have to take advantage of that. And I need Linehan. Since Linehan is up in that press box now, looking down the field, he can see more from a higher angle. He better be looking at this and saying to himself, okay, I need to get that going. I need to get this offense going. Me as a fan, and I tell you guys all the time, if I'm sitting here watching the game and I can see that what Dak is doing that helps, and what he does and what he's good at, why can't Linehan get him together on that? That's all I'm saying, y'all. That's all I'm saying. But with that being said, y'all, yo, thanks again to all my subscribers. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. I love the support that you guys give me. You know, this, I just want to say real quick, this YouTube thing is really hard. It's not easy trying to maintain a channel, especially when you have things going on in your life, good, bad, or indifferent. Especially when you're trying to, like me, I'm trying to get into a new career right now. So I'm focusing on so many other things right now, but you know, I try to keep you guys informed. I try to keep you guys engaged with, you know, my thought process and things of that nature. So, I just hope you guys enjoy, you know, what I do. I appreciate it if you do. I love the support. It's definitely needed because, like Mark says, without you guys, we have nothing. And I'm appreciative. I'm thankful for Thanksgiving. I am definitely thankful for you guys. If this is your first time listening to my videos or watching my videos, go ahead and tap dance on that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification because, you know, I'm going to bring you some good content, and I'm coming with it, y'all. So, with that being said, it's your boy E2 Blue, always keeping it real. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great Wednesday.